It's about to go down. It's your boy, Carlos Cicada, aka Carlos Inspire, for another incredible episode in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered how a down home redneck turned a bankruptcy into a thriving community of entrepreneurs who fund their futures and multiply their money? Buckle up. This is the story you didn't know you needed. Today, I have an honor to bring you here on the stage a good friend of mine, Mike Ashabraner, known as the Redneck Coach. He's a testament to resilience and the power of community, rising from the hardships of poverty in Kentucky. Mike faced bankruptcy in 2010, but transformed his life with the help of a mentor. With no further ado, on the stage, Mike Ashabraner. What's up, Mike? Uh-oh. I think Mike is on mute. And that's how we go.
Hey, we're off to a good start. I was like,
that's how we rock it, brother. It's live. We ain't editing it. That's how we roll, baby. What's going on, Mike? How you doing, brother?
Good, Carlos, man. I am thrilled to be on your show, man. You're a top level guy, birds of a feather. You know how when they put the PB and J in the same jar 20 years ago? That's how I feel about us, man. Yeah, still talking about it.
I appreciate that, Mike. I appreciate that, man. It's always an honor, my friend. I have great people here. They're out there walking the talk, building communities, rebuilding from scratch. I mean, you overcome some crazy shit, pardon my French, since 2010. And I'm excited and I'm looking forward to this episode. Shout out to everybody over there on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook. We stream the show live every Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing more live episodes on Thursdays as well. And then we release on the following Monday for podcast at 5:07 a.m. Pacific time at the carlosinspireshow.com. I appreciate you guys. If you guys could do me a huge favor, go on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, go on YouTube at Carlos Inspires, go on TikTok, go on Instagram at Carlos Inspire. Drop us a follow. Let us know who do you want to see on the show. And who would you like to talk about more often? What are the topics that you guys love to hear? We love, drop your questions. If you guys are interacting with us live in the show, drop your questions below. And with no further ado, my brother, Mike, you have been called the Redneck Connector. Tell us about the moment that you realized you had the power to turn relationships into results.
Wow. It came right after, soon after COVID, Carlos. First of all, I had to give a shout out. The hounds are here, man. You see how blessed I am? My
dude, I'm bringing everybody here that comments. I'm showing your message on their stage, guys. We got people over here on YouTube. We got people here on LinkedIn Live. That's what I'm talking about. We got people here on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook. Anybody that comments and that engage, I'm bringing you up your name and I'm showcasing here to people around the world. We got followers on all 5 continents. Show up, drop one thing that you are grateful for. Let me know what you guys are listening from. As Mike and I are dropping gems, drop the gems below and I'm going to bring it live on the show. It's about to go down. It's Mike Ashabraner in the house.
Yeah. Let's go, Mike. Hey, hounds, I told you about this guy. I told you wait till we get together. See, no disappointment here. So, Carlos, I'll give you the mini version if I ever had one, brother. It's face-to-face, I was good, man. I ran a nonprofit. I built a financial business, and it was very hard, man. I was like, I was like redneck George Jefferson. Like right when COVID hit, I've been poor my whole life, right? And, when you have nothing but dirt to build from, you can't even burn dirt, Carlos. So I was all passion and no clue for most of my life. So the very long story short is when I realized I could do this, on social media was right at COVID, right? They told me I couldn't go out and play anymore. And seriously, I said, oh my gosh, I have a family. I have 2 kids. And, I went from 6 figures to 0. And so here's what I did, man. I hate to admit it, but this is the truth. I went on social media, specifically LinkedIn. And, I bother people, right? I pitch slap with a P, I spamming people, and I'm sorry, but listen, you know what? This is my message. I'll get to the point.
I'm glad that you keep.
I
I'm
thought
glad
it
that you
was
keep
me.
it at 100 because some people they sugarcoat it, and I'm loving this conversation. Continue, my brother.
No, I'm not. My hairline, I got hair, but this side is by bothering people for 2 years, and this side is my kids. All right, that's where my hairline went. But I went out there, and here's what happened. If anybody out there feels like you're defective, you're not cut out for marketing or social media or building a business, let me tell you something. If you're like me, you probably showed up to a football game with a dadgum baseball bat. See, it ain't you. You just don't know the rules and how to play the game. So to answer the question, the reason I give you that is because it's there's this whole series. If you want to hear it, guys, come to my Hounds group call. It's entertaining as well as educational. But here's what happened. All the traditional marketing methods failed. All the hardcore great sales programs failed me. And I realized why. You know why? Long story short, because I hated it. It wasn't who I was. I really want to have authentic relationships, man. I really want to push people up. I want to see the best in them. People have an impact to make, and they won't. Most of them won't make the impact that they desire because they don't have the resources, people, and support. So, long story short, when I became the de facto leader of this group from this influencer, I said, you know what? Instead of pitch slapping, instead of talking about me all day, this is corny, but this is how we built it. Hey, millions of dollars ran through this. This is real. All right. It said, what if I just loved on people? Well, seriously, that was my thought. I said, I tried everything else. Why don't I just love on people? Be legit. I became an impromptu dating coach, Carlos. I help people learn LinkedIn and YouTube, anything I could do. And you know what? So I said, listen, everybody wants Joe Rogan and Oprah. Everybody wants the big fish. You know what I said? I said, what if I find Joe Rogan and Oprah before they're big, right? What if I find those people and it happens? So I just loved on people. And I told them, I said, listen, you can't do this. I'll use everything from my bad past experiences. I'll help you. I said, but what do you think's going to happen when you start making 10, 20 grand a month? She said, oh, everybody's going to want to help me. I said, yeah. And you're going to tell them, no, thank you. The redneck was here when I was broke. I'm going to stick with him. Will you do that? Well, guess what? You already know what happened. About 4 or 6 months later, the economy went in the toilet. She came to me, but here's what I wasn't ready for. This is the Hounds, Carlos. She brought her friends, her mom, her sister, her colleagues. See, I didn't realize instead of talking about me all day in advertising, I pay for that. But you know what? You know what they don't expect? They don't expect hundreds of super pros to say you're great, man. And that's not, you can't buy that at the corner store. That's earned. So that's where we're at. That's when I realized, hey, if I love on the right people and help them get what they want, woo, man, like a reflector plate, they help me get what I want. That's the kind of redneck Camelot we built here in the Hounds of Business, Carlos. Does that make
Man,
sense?
I love that, man. There's 100%, man. And if I want to shout out, brother, for everything that you do, I watch you, I see you out there, man. You hustling, you're making it happen. You're building an awesome community. I love, me. I've been preaching to community leaders and assisting many brands for over 20 plus years. I've been doing this since MySpace was around, interviewing
Whoa.
people, and that's as long as. And I love interviewing and not only successful influencers like you, but also the underdog. Because, like you say, right, the next Mike, the next Oprah, the next Tony Robbins, the next Jay Shetty, like being behind them, knowing that, you bought that person on your platform, you gave them a voice. You know me, Mike. I train a lot of speakers over the years, and I help people getting paid to speak on stages and blow them up. And I often tell them, they're like, Carlos, but I get a little bit shaky, before going on the stage, or if I'm on the back on the stage, and then Tony Robbins or Les Brown or Jay Shetty or Elon Musk or some legend is back there, and they're already feeling intimidated. And you know what I always tell them, Mike? The unknown person in the room has the greatest leverage. They don't know your story. They don't know how hungry you are. They don't know how much you overcome. You know what I mean? They don't know that you went through that
Thank you.
bankruptcy and you went through hell. You know what I mean? To keep up with the bills and people laughing at us at the beginning. You feel me? But eventually you become so good they can avoid you. Eventually, you keep sharing that voice over and over and over again, where there is 0 person on the live, where there's no like, no comment, and eventually magic would happen. Look what happened to Les Brown, man. He was recording those videos. I don't know if you guys know, Les and I, we're very good friends. We go way back. Les used to write his stuff and write it down and think about his videos that he will post on YouTube back in the day, from the office building that he slept on the floor. He took a shower in that office. People laughed at him when he was putting that stuff out there. You have greatness within you, shooting for the moon, and you land among the stars. But guess what? He let it go through here and get out of through here. They made fun of Liz. They made fun of Mike. They made fun of me with the bread and bringing the bread on the stage, right? They might say something about your hat, and you're like, whatever, keep doing your thing. You don't know how hungry I am. You watch me, baby. And speaking of that, Mike, bankruptcy back in 2010 wasn't the end for you, man. It was the beginning. Some of you guys listening to me here today might thinking is the end, but it's the beginning, my friends. Walk us through that, Mike, your mindset doing those tough times, the younger Mike, and the first steps that you took to rebuild.
Great question. And this is why you're my go-to, man. You know, this is the Hounds. This is grassroots people who just they want to make something happen, man. You had a compassion for others and you did it. Nobody was going to stop you, man. And that's what we've got here. Look in the comments, right? Dr. Jennifer. These are good, regular people who just got sick and tired of waiting on somebody else to do it. Ain't nobody else going to do it. So let me answer the question. It felt like the end, and it felt like it was never going to end. So if anybody out there is feeling this, and you might feel it several times. I'm kind of feeling it now, and it's not realistic, but you know, hey, here's the deal. When that happened, it was the worst case scenario, right? I had pride in what I did. I didn't want to do it, but you know what? I had a mentor of mine. This was the guy. This is how I got in finance. This is what I mean. Like if you put yourself out there, God, the universe, all that will find you if you put yourself out there and have the right mindset. So my cousin, this is a fun story. My cousin, he's goofy. I like him, but he's a goofy dude, right? So we were at his house playing cards one day, and I was just about to have to file bankruptcy. And I mentioned it, and he come out and he pulled out a folder. He said, "Oh man, I'm gonna pay my house off in 8 years, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that." And I said, "Man, he must be drunk or something. Get away from me, right?" And so the next day, the guy he was talking about who helped him called me, and I took the call for 3 reasons. First of all, I never heard of a finance guy wanting to work with a broke person before, right? So I was curious. I took the call. Number two, my cousin, I trust him. You know, he's goofy, but I trusted him. So I said, "Hey, I'll take it." And then number three, I said, "Look, I'm filing bankruptcy, man. What's he going to do to me, right? Like, what's he going to scam me? It's like getting blood from a turnip, right?" So I took the call, and thank goodness I did. That bankruptcy catapulted me in a career that I would never, ever, I mean, never wanted to embark on. And then he said, "Well, that's the success story." No, no, no. I got told no and struggled for years. No, no, I made $10. That was a good year, guys. I ain't making it up. But through the struggle comes, you know, the inner strength, the inner growth, resolve, all these things. Let me tell you something. I'll end here. Who wants to watch a movie or read a book from someone who had no challenges and everything handed to them? That's why I speak with authority. I'm not some guru on the mountaintop. I'm some guy that started climbing the mountain. It took 40 years for me to get to the starting line, right? And my first thought was, why do you want people want to hear a guy like me talk who's not even up the mountain yet? That's exactly why they want to hear from me, because 95% of the business self-help section doesn't, it seems like BS. You know, we want to know from true mentors like Carlos who've been there, man. You went through some major stuff in life. See, that's why I like you. That's why I believe you, because I'm like,
No,
man, that guy speaks for real. So that was the catalyst. I listen, I turn dog poo into fertilizer and I teach other people how to do that. That's what I do in my businesses, and that's what I do with the Hounds. The world
I
says you
love.
can't. Listen, we're gonna say you can, man. We're gonna figure it out. And it's resolve. It really is. It's just that how does that guy still standing? How is that woman still doing it? That's what it takes, because now we got the resources, we have the people, we have the support. You just got to bring grit, man. That's really
Yes,
what it is. If you
amen, brother. Amen, man. I love that, Mike. You know, you know, you and I, we talk a lot about communities, and you know, it's not fun doing going through the solopreneur years alone. And when you surround yourself with others, right, whether you're hanging around Mike's community, my community, and now look what we're doing here, right? We're bringing communities together, right? And that's how together we can do so much more. A lot of people out there, and sometimes they have very similar communities, and they have their podcast, they have their shows, but they wouldn't bring somebody on their similar niche. We're like, why not? You know, you want to bring more people together, especially if we like some of the same things. And again, it's the abundance mindset, getting out there, helping more people, bringing more people together, because now you got 2 communities and 3 communities. And man, I'm telling you, Mike, and congratulations on everything that you are doing, man, with the Hound business community. What was the spark, Mike, that inspired you to create? I mean, and since you created, how's that changed the game from the entrepreneurs they are in that community? What has sparked you to put it together?
Gosh, there's so many of them, success stories. But I'll tell you a couple, just a couple tidbits. The original story where the lady came and I said, I'll help you, and her reciprocity and this ping pong game, right? That really got me. But there was a point, there's many of them. But I remember sitting there one day going through my own just really hard time, right? Because this is hard. This is beyond hard. Be careful what you wish for. I want to build a business and be something. Woo, you better buckle up, man. I don't know about you, but what you were saying earlier, look, I lost friends. I sold my car. This was a nasty thing. But also, in hindsight, I've grown. I've grown resilience. I've grown resolve. And I attracted people like you see in the comments here. So here's my thing. When I realized for the first day that all the terrible things in my life and all the things I went through, voluntary or self-inflicted, I was able to be the catalyst for other people. I was able to, so I drove off the cliff 15 times and I was able to stop someone from doing that. And they would listen to me, Carlos. That was life changing. That's legacy leaving. Let me give you an example. There was somebody that came to me a while back, a long time ago. And I don't talk about it much, but I don't hide from it. I'm a recovering alcoholic, man. And, I'm good with that. Uh, and then somebody else came to me with that. And I remember sitting there in one of my worst times, not thinking about me, thinking about someone else. And all I did was listen for 2.5 hours. Right. And I gave some advice and hung up. And I said, you know what, man, probably nothing's going to happen. 3 weeks later, I'm like, well, what happened? So I made a phone call. And you know what? Unbelievable. They all took action. Things are moving forward. And I went, that right there is why I exist. Not the money, not all the prestige, none of that. I've become a key person of influence for many reasons. And if I can speak words that can change somebody's life and shortcut that and help them live fully and do things and push others up, man, how could I stop? So that's how I become unstoppable. If I don't figure out and become who I need to be, my business will only grow to the level I'm willing to grow, Carlos, man. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it. Like, oh, it's hard. You know what's hard is not helping more people like her. That's what's harder to me. So I think that's where the rubber meets the road. We're not alone. I see the proof. You can't tell me I don't work. Look at the comments. These people believe in this. If otherwise, I'm just some guy in a camo hat taking a walk.
I'm telling you,
Now I've
man.
got other people pushing people up, like you're pushing me up. And again, it's sad out there because you feel like you're alone and you feel like you're not good enough. And people and yourself, you tell yourself this stuff. Well, look who you're talking to, dadgummit. Like, give me one reason you can succeed. We got tons of reasons you can, but I want to hear one. That's the hard part, brother. What do you think?
I mean, and you make me think, Mike, back in the days, man, when I was on the streets. I used to sell bread, as you know, like at age 7 to help my widow mother. And a lot of my friends, man, we like, as much as I go back and I'm thinking about those moments, we were a community of little hustlers selling on the streets. I was selling bread. My boy was selling empanadas. The other one was selling cheese bread. The other one was selling what I forgot the name, was the pastelitos, and we all sold our goods to where the avatar were, at that bus stop early in the morning. They had to go to work. Some people got to commute 1 to 2 hours in small cities to the capitals back in South America, where I grew up in Brazil. And we were there. We knew where they're going to be. We knew they're paying. Sometimes they forgot to eat. They need some food. So we put ourselves in the environment. Some of us come from some very tough backgrounds, right? You know what I mean? It's like people thinking that you have it hard. Those kids have it hard, right? They got to work in the trash and collect garbage and to make some money. You know what I mean? The little Carlos that's so bred on that bicycle, they used to say, one day we're going to attract great people into our life. We're going to mentor the greatest people around the world. And we're just going to do whatever it takes. And many people laugh at you, right? They say, you're never going to go anywhere, kid. You're going to die in the streets. You don't have a father, right? My father died in a car explosion. I couldn't fix that. My stepfather was murdered. you know. And I always tell people, man, never give up, man, never give up, because you know that little Carlos didn't give up. That little Carlos, he saw that bread on that bike, and he said, "Watch me. One day I will mentor Wesley Snipes. One day I will be on the stage with Jay Shetty, Roberto Carlos, and Tony freaking Robbins, and whoever the heck he's gonna be." And you keep showing up, just like Mike did, just like I did, and you watch the magic happen. But Mike, tell me something, man. You got me fired up here. Your story
Mm.
is a testament of the power of mentorship. As you mentioned earlier, you know, you and I talk a lot, and you always you bring that up. You know, the people they push you, they challenge you, and I appreciate you, all your kind words every time that you and I talk. And what was the most valuable lesson? Your, you know, and you big in finance, whether it's in finance or in building communities, you could pick from either or. What was one of the biggest, most valuable lessons that you learned, and how do you pass that on to your clients?
Ooh. You know, wow. So let me, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I don't get stumped much, Carlos. That's why I like you, brother. You make me think. All right. So yeah, I am big on mentorship. You know, there was people, and this is key. And Omar, thank you for the comment. You know, I appreciate you.
Yes,
This is real talk, man. This is
I
why we
love
do
it.
this. Um, there were people that picked me up not too long ago, right? In some of my worst days in business life, internally, and there's no way I could repay them, Carlos. None. And to this day, I really don't know why they did it. They didn't have to do it. You know, people were busy, but they did it, right? And fast forward to today, you know, this guy who was just all passion and no clue, right? Uh, just how in the world can I even pay the bills, much less, you know, lead a movement and make big impact? And you know what the best part about that is? I'm doing it now. I'm redneck Santa now. Like not to the level I want to be, but I'm already got a glimpse of it here in the last couple of weeks. I was able to do amazing things, put amazing things behind great causes from those people who just, you know, they're building it. They're doing amazing things. I got too many NDAs. I don't know what I'm supposed to say anymore. But they're doing amazing things with our children and cancer and all these things. And that my response, hey, the more money I get, the more success I get, I can't give away fast enough. So my whole thing is pretty much to, you know, like Oprah, man. I just want to, hey, I'm gonna go out there, you get a food bank and you get a coat factory. I'm gonna go out there. This is what we're doing in the house. I want to make as much money as possible so I can go be the solution and antidote to the things I hate, to the things
Yeah,
that hurt me, to the things that need to be changed. So that really, it's not about just the end goal. Yeah, money's good and it, you know, less stress, but what's the end result? And here's what's funny. I never really talked about this. In the last couple of weeks, there have been very successful men, even some women, that who have built great empires. And they're going, is this it? Like, now what? And they hear me over there, I guess, talking about, you know, charging forward, leaving legacies and having an oil painting of my redneck face on somewhere when I'm dead. And they're like, you know what? Maybe, maybe he's on to something. So again, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's my finance or community. My whole job is to truly not just inspire, but to enable, to walk with, right? And have other people walk with you. And that's it. If I'm just some crazy man with a camo hat taking a walk, these folks make it happen, man. They said, you know what? We hear what he's saying, we see what he's doing, and we're going to duplicate it. So
yeah,
that's it. I want to see people get, you're in debt. Let's get a plan to get out of it. Is it going to be easy? Heck no, it ain't going to be easy. Is it worth it? That's all it needs to be. It don't have to be easy. It needs to be worth it. All right. So that's the whole calling card, right? You're not crazy. You're crazy not to do it. The world needs you. We don't need more cancer, you know, rates going up. We don't need that. We need less, right? We need more people like you all out there, and
yeah.
that's the calling card. That's it.
I
Seriously,
love it,
we'll
brother.
figure out the what. And real quick, you mentioned ecosystem, Carlos. That's it. I'm not worried about outcomes, man. Once you pull the arrow, the arrow's out there. You can't move the arrow midair, but you know what you can do? You can readjust. And we have built this on ecosystems. All you don't think we became a hub of cancer by me trying? No, we became that because I befriended a lady who was doing amazing things, and we pushed each other up in times where we were going to quit. And now look at us. Now we're doing things. We're not as broke, and we're continuing that relationship. There's millions of people she could have chose. There's only one of me. I was there when it counted. And that's why you're so daggum famous and popular. People like you because you push people up just based on merit. because you can. That's what our heart is. That makes sense.
No, man, it does make 100%, Mike. You know, as you were thinking here, I was reflecting here and I saw a message, somebody live. I cannot say your name, but it's a LinkedIn user. Whoever you are, your name is not showing here, but it's a powerful
Sarah.
message. Can you talk about changing one's mindset about being worthy of abundance? And this is such a powerful question, which was going to be right before I ask you about, because you are known, Mike, for straight shooting strategies that cut through the noise, right? You and I relate because we are both very similar. We tell exactly how it is. We don't sugarcoat it. We don't overpromise nobody. You work with us, you're gonna make money overnight. No, that doesn't belong. Man, I wrote the book, work like an immigrant because hard work works. That was back in 2018, international bestseller, and we donate 100% of the proceeds to help people on the streets, to help the little Mikes and the little Carloses out there who are facing hunger, who doesn't feel worthy because, you know what I mean? This is a mindset, is the society, is the media, is all this crap that they try to instill on us, but it's just like fear, right? It's false evidence appearing real. Or without cussing, F everything and run, right? That's
Right.
what it is, man. Because just if you look in the mirror in the morning and you say, I am worthy, you know what I mean? The other day, one of my good friends, Don Green, the guy's the president of the Napoleon Hill Foundation and Institute. The guy sat down on the table with the people that were mentored by Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie, billionaires from the early 1900s. The guy was the guy behind him and his mentor, Clement Stone, that saw the drunk Og Mandino. Og Mandino was an alcoholic, Mike, like you were, like I was back in the day. And he saw greatness in Og Mandino. And he went and picked him up from the floor, from the street, and said, you know, Og, I see greatness in you. And sometimes when you don't have that, Mike, you don't have that, Carlos, but you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you tell yourself, I see greatness in you, LinkedIn user, whoever you are, that you know what I mean? I wish your name were here. Type it down. What is your name? And you look at yourself, and anybody listening to us live, you say your first name, Mike, Carlos, whatever your name is, Dr. Jennifer, Omar, everybody here, Royce, I see greatness in you. You are worthy. You are enough. And when you see it and you feel it, and you remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing, and you have your little post-it notes and your little reminders and whatever thing you use to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing, reminding who you are doing it for. So when we're no longer here, they're gonna talk about us. They will talk about Mike they will talk about me like, you know, I mean, like we talk about Napoleon Hill. You feel me? I surprised, brother. You know what I mean? You guys got to check it out. The last episode of the podcast show, I had this client of mine. Her dream was to talk to him and meet the president of the Napoleon Hill because she's launching a book. And this guy happened to sell 175 million books. Think and Go Rich and all this book. So her dream was to meet him because she's a publisher. She's an author. And I'm like, you know what? Today I'm going to be like my boy, you know, Frank Shankwitz, the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, which, by the way, a week ago, he passed away a few years on the 24th, 2 days before my birthday. He granted the wish of 500,000 kids before they died. Wow. He was a detective. He came home tired from work. And he called his friends. They pick up the yellow pages back in the 70s and the 80s, and they called the neighbors. They called the Mikes and the Carloses and the Jennifers and the Royces and the people that are here with us right now. And they said, come to my kitchen. Let's call a bunch of people and raise some cash and grant the wish of a kid that's going to die. And before he passed away, he granted 500,000 freaking wishes. You feel me? He's lying, brother. You hold it. I'm so fired up. I'm so excited and emotional because when I think about this, everyone can be a hero. That was his tagline. That was his message. I want you guys to look in the mirror after you say that you have greatness in you, that you are worthy. Don't let nobody rob that shit from you. I don't care how hard it is, how hard it's going to be. You are going to make it. Period, done and done. And when you say that over and over and over, that's when the magic happens. But Mike, I want to hear your take on this question, and then let's start there first because I'm really enjoying this conversation. As you guys can see, I'm fired up.
Man,
But
you lit my fuse. Yeah, I'm about to explode like a volcano. Go ahead, brother.
I know you and I are gonna have a great time, Mike, because we come from the same
Man.
cloth, man. From poverty, from chaos and tragedy. But what is your take, Mike, on this question about your worthy, reminding yourself that you are worthy of abundance and cutting through the noise?
For me, again, and for others I've seen, but just for me, right? There's two things that really went next level, right? It was number one, awareness. I had to be aware that, I'm not where I want to be. I had to be aware that that's leads to number two, which is personal responsibility. Once I had awareness that, you know, hey, I see things for what they are, right? And I don't like it. And then I had to say everything in your life may not be your fault, but it's your problem. It's your responsibility. You can't blame no one. No one's coming to save you. Hey, you got to get real. If you don't like something, who's going to change it? You. Well, how? That was the problem. I have no idea. But here's the deal. Um, I didn't need to know the solution. As soon as I said yes, as soon as I said, you know what, I am going to do something different. Dadgummit, I am going to bet on me for the first time. And what happens is that people are on, it could be religion, it could be upbringing, could be our parents, it could be anything. And you have to say, do I want to continue that belief? Do I want to keep that tape in my head and that thought? And you, the man or woman, not the kid, right, that runs around in this, but the man and woman had to say, hey, that's not okay anymore. I'll give you an example. I was the biggest people pleaser on planet Earth, man. I was a doormat for the capital D. And that was the problem in my life. It wasn't other people. Here's the deal. When you work on yourself, it's awful. It's nasty work because there's a reason we bury our head in the sand. Okay. I've been there, right? There's no healthy alcoholics, right? So I've been here and done that. But the problem is that once you say, you know what, for example, if I get a stupid email, right, and most of the time I would say, well, why did that person send that stupid email? How could they say that? You know what I think? No, this is real. I say, what am I doing in my life and business to make that man think that email is okay? See, that's personal responsibility. It's not, listen, dogs bark, cats meow, and people. You can't control that. Don't try to get a dog to meow. What you control your response, what your boundaries, you set clear expectations. And if you don't know what those are, guess what? Your job is to go figure that out. That's because the soft skills are what matters. And if you don't believe me, think about it. Have you ever done a sales script or a marketing thing and it worked for other people and not you? You know why? Because it wasn't you. It wasn't who you are inside. There's no difference between you. Your business is an extension of yourself. If you're building this from a passion, you know how it's never personal, it's just business. Please, nothing could be farther from the truth, man. I'm helping people with money in their life. It is personal, and I want it to be because that's what fires me up. So to answer the question, you just have to make a determination to replace whatever's in your brain and worldview that you no longer like, you no longer subscribe to. Is it easy? No, you're gonna get knocked on your butt a couple times at minimum. All right. But is it worth it? Absolutely, because it's only short-lived. When I started resisting that and started changing myself, I perceived loss of business, loss of friends, whatever. But you know what? I gained back tenfold. I gained people who respected me for me, people who wouldn't mess with myself, people who increased my self-worth. Opportunities started coming out of nowhere. Seriously, I had 5 emails come through one day when I decided to just bet on me. If I lose everything, I'm gonna lose everything. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna lay on the grenade, whatever. Right. And guess what? It's like that come out the woodwork. It was like the roaches, man. I was like, where is this coming from? Where is all this opportunity coming from? So that's it. For example, love of money. Right. I don't love money. I had to research it. I had to look at, I had to figure that out. I said, you know what? All these do-gooders, they can't do good without money. Somebody's got to pay for this stuff. I want to be that guy. So it changed my thinking. It's not about me. And I'll stop here because I'm gonna set you off real bad if I can finish this thought. What I and the hounds are all about, Carlos. Now, this is the real deal.
I love it.
We're not interested in just paying the electric bill. Listen, have you, and I ask people this because I want to know what their heart is before I engage in business. That's what matters to me. I want to know your integrity. All right. So I say this on all group calls. I say it, I mean every word of it, never a script. I say, have you ever seen someone in need? It broke your heart. Right? To me, it's a family down the street. Good, amazing people. They just work hard. They're just poor. And you would have helped them. But you couldn't, or you couldn't help them as much as you wanted to because you didn't have the time, money, and freedom to do it. Have you ever been there? See, that's what wakes me up in the morning, and that's what keeps me going when I want to quit, because I don't want to do that anymore. Right. So here's the deal. Right. I believe truly, not even millions. Yeah, I want millions in the hounds in a recent 3 to 5 years, but just thousands. I want to know what the comments, what y'all think. If thousands of heart-centered high-level professionals, if we had the time, money, and freedom to do what we want, when we want, for as long as we want, with whomever we want, we can make a serious dent in stuff that matters. Food insecurity, injustice, man. Who's with me? So the next time there's an anthology, the next time there's a bunch of kids running around without coats, I'm going to scholarship and buy them coats. No one's going to know I did it. Who's with me here? That's the reason I'm dogged. That's the reason I changed my worldview, and that's the reason I don't back down anymore. Because if I do, who's going to do it? Who's going to buy the coats, Carlos? Who's going to help this lady actually change lives in South Africa? I don't see anybody else doing it, man. So take yourself out of the equation and then put yourself back in it. So how am I supposed to help these people if I can't help myself? If I don't have the time, freedom for me and my money, how am I supposed to do it for others? So it's not selfish, it's wisdom. So
Yeah.
change your thinking. Change your thinking. Look at Carlos.
That's real
He's Santa Claus. He couldn't
That
Santa Claus and do this if he didn't have success. Come on now. What do you
no,
think, Carlos?
I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, you're making me going back, man. You can make me going back to that little Carlos again. You know, like selling that bread on that bus stop. You know, and just believing myself that one day I was gonna get out. You know, how long are you guys willing to go? You know, without a paycheck. How long are you willing to go? I was making 50 cents a day from age 7 until 18. You know, as a kid selling bread, 50 cents a day. How long are you willing to go? But eventually, you know, if you're willing to go at places that others won't go, you're going to be getting things that others won't get. I often talk about you know, you got to do what others don't do, can do, and won't think of doing. And when you're willing and you make your declaration the same way how we made the declaration of this incredible country, USA, of independence, of our early founders that still carry on to us to this day, and we all believe as a nation, and you do that to you, my friend, in your business and your mission statement and your employees, your teams, your community, they're gonna know who you are. They're gonna know what you stand for. They're gonna know when they see you, when they think about you. I often tell people, you know, when they think about you, they think about your name, they see your brand, they see your logo. What do they think about? What it comes to mind first, right? You build your brand so powerfully, and you become known as that person that are out there. They are helping others. They are taking people from 0 to 1. They're out there cutting the sales cycle, cutting through the noise, showing up, being real, being raw, documenting the ugly, the good. Whenever employees screw up and you got to fire somebody, talk about that shit. You know what I mean? If you are in e-commerce and the container doesn't show up, or a pirate rob your container, you know, talk about that. When you are about to speak on the stage, or are you going to speak at a mastermind and there is a flooding and a hurricane is coming through Florida or California shaking, or there is a fire in LA that we cannot control. My prayers to all my people in LA. I'm over here in California. Lost a lot of friends, lost their homes and clients. I spoke in some of those houses, but we don't give up. We rebuild, we help. What do you guys see me doing with the podcast? I interview a lot of people. And what do I always ask? I ask my guests to contribute. Many guests come over here, bro, and you already know it. They donate 500, 1,000, 2 grand. I go out there on the streets every week, handle people cash, helping people. I'm not putting a phone, a camera in their faces. Sometimes I'll do a camera with me out there to inspire others to go do that at their shows, at their communities, right? And you become, because you and I know, Mike, the more we give, the more we get. You feel me? So I really appreciate it, man. You being straightforward. And the person that asked the question, Sheila, we found her. She commented, the LinkedIn user. And I'm watching all you guys, and I'm appreciating all you guys' comments. Everybody here's fired up. So Sheila, thank you for the question. We got Nicole saying worthy. We got Dr. Jennifer in the house. We got the Hound.
Oh man,
I know you are. You all make this possible. We got Omar over here as well. Shout out on LinkedIn. You are all true success agents, man. Gotta run. Thanks for sparking the fire under me. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. You see, guys, it all starts by taking massive action. I tell people, you know what I mean? Like starting a podcast, going live, interviewing other successful people. You have no idea how much people I interviewed these last 20 years. People that I never dreamed. People that I told when I was on the streets. You know what I mean? When I have now some of these celebrities and athletes and CEOs and influencers like Mike, they are friends of mine. We do partnerships, business partnerships. They are clients of mine. You build big things. You help people across the borders, across all 5 continents, because you believed in yourself when there was nobody watching, when there was 0 like, 0 freaking comments, 0 reposts, 0. But you see, that's the shit that you wanted to leave it out there. You don't want to delete that shit. You want to leave it. How many people go and they post something like, it thinks I'm going to delete it? No, leave it. Leave it there. That's to show you, you know what I mean? Because that will build us. What is your take on that, Mike?
You ought to see my old brand, dude. It's a train wreck. So I had somebody come to me the other day, and I got to give a shout out. Dr. Constance Leland of Level Up Academy, Christine Bell, Strategy on the Go Community, and Tanya Eberhardt of Brand Face. Those are my guardian angels. I'll be honest with you. They were the ones. And then Dr. Jennifer in here, she was OG, man. I think she might be the only OG before I even had a title. But you're right.
Them, we learn just as much
Man.
from our clients than what do we teach. For real. That's real talk.
They are the reason that other people are succeeding. And so I put on my hat, and by the way, and we can, if you want to, we can get into this. People say, well, how did you have the confidence to do you? I didn't have confidence. See, that was the problem with the self-help section and the crap I was. Listen, I had courage. I had courage to look like a donkey. And in fact, I don't talk about this much, but since it's you, I want to inspire people. It's a real audience.
Let's go.
When I put this hat on and let myself out because my mentor encouraged me, somebody really came down on me twice, man. It was back to back. These 2 people just came down, put me down, canceled appointment, made fun of it. You know what? I did it anyway. Thank God I did. Think about this, guys. The stuff that you're not doing because of other people's opinion or even your own mindset. Look, if I didn't do this, all these blessings would not exist. These people wouldn't be doing what I'm not saying I'm the reason, but I didn't see it happening before this. I didn't see it happen before I decided just to go out there and screw it up and get beat up and, cry at night and whatever. See, I love this about you. You talk about real stuff. So here's my take on it. If you're struggling with the opinions of others, I think maybe Goggins or somebody said this. They said maybe it was Peterson. I don't remember. He said, we're supposed to love ourselves more than other people, but we care more about their opinion than our own. That was very enlightening to me. So here's what I think. Do people's opinions matter? I'm going to say yes to a degree. Here's what I mean. I'm going to get in trouble for this, whatever. So if Mother Teresa said that redneck's a real, you know what, that would bother me because I say, well, these are my people, right? I like good people like this. So maybe I have something to work on. See, that would be a constructive thing. But, if I can't drop his name, but if some notorious, weirdo criminal didn't like me, you know what? Good. Why would I want it? I'm glad he don't relate to me. I don't eat people and stuff. So here's my thing. Examine who you are. Look around because you have to look. You look at Carlos and say, I like to be like Carlos. I like aspects of Carlos. Then take those aspects and make it yours. You see other things. You're like, I like to do that. I'll give you a last example. I saw the guy on the airplane. It looked like it was just a mean racist thing. And I don't know the backstory, but here's what I paid attention to, guys. And this is what the world sees. People admire you from a distance. People really do. You think nobody's paying attention. There's people looking at you going, man, I really admire that person. Don't think it doesn't. So I saw this person in this situation where everybody was being mean and they didn't get up and yell. They didn't demand justice. They got up and walked off. That's a big, tough guy. Then it goes all over YouTube. And what are people in the comments saying? Hey, look at the character. I'm not flying there anymore. So justice was served. Sometimes you be an oak tree and a sea of tumbleweeds, man. Listen, I'm willing to lose money. I've lost money. I'm doing this because this is me. It's not me because it's popular and always profitable. That's what the world wants. That's what people back you up. This is why these folks are busy and here on a daggum, Wednesday at 5 o'clock supporting me. because they're these people. I just put them together, man. I'm like Dr. X, you know, Xavier, right? Like I'm
I,
just the dude that pulls all of them together. But that's an important task, right?
I love it,
Nobody wants
Mike.
to go to an orchestra if you know, without the guy with the sticks, nobody come to pay $1,000 to see me do this at the orchestra. But
I'm
without
telling
me,
you, Mike. I love
it
it,
doesn't
man.
go.
You came from the foothills of Kentucky, and I came from the jungles of the Amazon, brother. And now we are rocking. Everybody, like Mike was saying, I mean, like if you guys see Mike the way how he is now, the way how I am, this person, didn't exist. I'm telling you, the other day I had my boy Joseph McClendon. Shout out if you guys like Joseph. He's a Tony Robbins business partner, and I always mess with him and I text him this message. That was Joseph and I. Me on the upper left and Joseph McClendon on the upper right. That
It's
is
you.
us right there. And then in the future, that's over there, us with rocking with Tony Robbins, right? Me on the stage with Tony. Tony's a good friend. Joseph and Tony, they business partners. Tony likes to joke around. Carlos, you're the Latino Tony Robbins. My wife said, no, 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 screw that. You are the Brazilian Carlos, baby. Let's freaking go. you know. and but again, we all have hope, family. We all have hope, man. Shout out to my
Man,
wife, Angie. I love you. I was gonna bring up a photo here that I always show her. That's my wife in here. I'm not bossy. I have skills, leadership skills, Carlos. Understand? Almost 20 years married. Let's freaking go, Mike. Now, man,
me too.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
guys, and I don't care how hard it is, man, and what kind of situation you are in right now. Just get out there. You can throw Mike and I, in the jungle, and we can restart. If I have to restart right now, I'll go out there, I'll go work, make some money. I'll go get myself a cell phone, and I will start interviewing people. And I will start making some money. I'll start buying businesses. I start asking people, what do you need help with? Okay, what are you struggling with? Straight up. Whatever they tell you, all right, great. Give me a shot. Let me help you. And you get paid on performance if you haven't built your brand yet. Whatever it takes. You feel me? But Mike, many people right now, like they feel stuck, right? After setbacks like bankruptcy and COVID and all those things that's been happening lately, or and some things are extreme, right? That like nature stuff is kind of hard to, what I mean, going against with. I deal with a lot of crazy stuff with nature, as I have properties, in Florida, in California, in Brazil, and we deal with fires and earthquakes and crazy, crazy stuff. But what advice do you have for someone right now struggling, to see the way forward? What is something that you can advise right now, a business owner? Maybe it could be one of your avatars, right? Somebody that you can solve a problem they seek and they don't have, and they struggle in their business, whether it's to grow or they making 100 grand to 500,000 a year and they want to get to $1 million, or they struggling, they lost they lost the drive, they lost the energy and the vibe. The things that we struggle the most, right? That self-worthy that we talked a little bit about earlier. But what is an advice, like a business advice, a strategy that you can share with somebody to see a way forward?
It may sound sporadic, but a couple tips that I picked up not too long ago. Number one, stop telling everybody everything. Yeah, should you tell people stuff? Yeah, but be selective, right?
Yep.
Even people, I had somebody that I admire, and they had my back 1000%. They didn't even realize they did it. They made a comment, and it stuck with me. And it held me back for a couple months, Carlos. And then I realized what was happening. I said, it's me. They said they don't even remember saying it. So just be careful of what you put out there. Go back behind closed doors and work on things. Come out, test it, go back. These things are healthy to me. But I'll tell you this: let go of outcomes. This is, hey, accept the fact that life is hard and it's brutal, and there's a lot of nasty things. I mean, you could be the healthiest person on earth, still get cancer. I mean, but I think of inspiring men and women all over the hounds and friends of the hounds, like Russ, man. Russ, that guy, I complain about a paper cut. This guy's dealing with it. He's sharing his experience. He's showing up, man, with cancer and all. Most inspiring guy I know, right? And outcomes ain't his thing, man. It's what can he create? What can he do today? So I was a fireman for 8 years. I speak with authority here. I've seen a lot, and I've been in the middle, right? I've saved lives, and some of them I couldn't. So life is tough. Understand. But here's the deal. We somehow, and you got to tap into this. we have way more ability to the resilience and determination of being human, the human spirit, man. Really, we've made it this far, thousands of years, right? As people, you got to stop underestimating your ability to turn crap into fertilizer. You got to start embracing the fact you got to be like water. Like everything that came in my way was not good, or it made me sad, and it brought me down until I realized, hey, this thing or that person or whatever it may be meant that for ill. But watch me like a magician, man, like a red. I'll take my hat off and I'll pull a rabbit out and I will turn that into something useful. Let me give you an example. And I want to inspire people out here. I want to know real concrete stuff. I ain't full of it. So, when I decided to go out and get people and supporters, even sponsors, I was just flopping around like a fish out of water. And folks, good folks, it didn't do it. I brought value. It was clear, and they just said no. And instead of getting upset and thinking that I stink and I'm not good and all that downward spiral and depression, I decided just to show other people. I was like, well, hey, this is what I did for so and so. Would you do it? Man, they bought it in 5 seconds. And then I realized it wasn't you. It wasn't it. It was, hey, it's like Jim Rome said. You're asking why the sun come up in the east. No, it just does. It's accept things. Say, look, they didn't do it. How can I use this to elevate my mission? And so think about it. I took that. And so you people out there say, well, I don't have Carlos has this resume. Mike's done this and that. Listen to me. Go out there and do something for someone for free if you have to. Get the job done. Make it happen. Just like Carlos said, he run around with a little piece of paper. Give me a shot. Nobody's going to ask you if it was free. No one cares. All they care about is it valuable. So when you get up there and put that on your social media and you show that, people are attracted to it because you're showing you do the job, right? So, for example, I don't have an in this industry. I don't have a name for myself. And then go interview somebody, right, who has an in and have a discussion. Like me and Carlos, we have a discussion. I don't have to say I'm great and he's great. Y'all picking up what we're about right now in this discussion. So, in other words, think outside the box. And by the way, well, what if it doesn't work? What if I look stupid? Exactly. Right now, you ain't got nothing going on. So, I mean, it's no already. What do you got to lose? Go shake it. And I'll stop here. I got to one of the biggest tables that I've ever. I couldn't believe I was at this table, y'all. This is a humongous, life-changing world for our kids. And here's the thought. This is what really makes me happy. Well, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't happen? Listen, a guy like me is at this table. How is that a loss? Think about where you're at today. Look back 20 years. Look where you're at. First of all, how's that a loss? I'm at the table. How am I going to tell my grandkids, hey, I took a shot and I fought like crazy to make amazing things happen for you guys worldwide? That's not a loss. So stop comparing yourself to whatever. That's a success. The fact that I'm in this table with multinational companies, wow, right? And also think about it. If you went from here to here, what's the difference between here and here? Stop hanging out at the rest area and keep going. Keep going until you have no more life left. That's it. I'm a constant self-improvement until I die. That's pretty much what I've concluded. There is no reaching it. There is no destination. It's just overcoming one challenge after the other until you decide to quit. That's it. Carlos, you've been here. You're farther along, man. Am I getting this right or wrong, bro?
Man, praise the Lord, brother. I love it. Can I, constant and never-ending improvement. I even add an OS to it. I call Kenios, constant and never-ending improvement on steroids, right? The training never stops, right? We are eternal students, and you just got to keep it going. You got to get creative. You guys see Mr. Beast, lock himself in a room for 10 years and went on to making viral stuff, whether we like the guy or not, right? But he often talk about the variable right now in getting more clients, in getting more people to download your podcast, to watch your episodes, is the creative piece, right? It's being creative, it's being raw, it's being authentic, it's being different, right? It's like Mike and I. We're having a good time over here. We're interacting with people over here live in real time, following us on all these platforms, right? They couldn't be doing anything else, but they're over here receiving value. If they are here in Chile right now, we got a bunch of people here live in real time. It's because they feel us. It's real, it's raw. We bring in real value. And that's what I talk about, right? It's just like failure, my friends, is never, ever fatal. It's just the feedback for your next move. Look at your failures. Look at the stuff that bothers you. It's just that is your feedback. It's God giving you feedback for your next move. You get creative before you post, before you prepare. And let's say you reach out to Mike, you reach out to me, you reach out to influential people, and you start asking them, hey, you want to be interviewed? Start interviewing the people that you want to work with. How about you start interviewing the people that you wanted to be your clients? You see, guys, there is so many things out there that you guys can try and test it. And if you showed up with no agenda, just real and raw and bringing value, asking somebody, what do you need help with? And you go make that person $1 or $2, watch how many dollars they throw it back at you without you asking, right? But again, it's like showing up. My first few years of my career, I would go to the gurus. Hey, let me come in. I'll check the IDs in the door. I'll move the chairs around. I'm there the day before the event, walking around the building. Nobody's there. The guru will be there because he got to put that shit together, or he got to manage the people that are putting it together. Hey, you need some volunteers? I work for free, right? I often do that all the time. I got people all the time. They come to me, hey, Carlos, I know you are killing it. Your clients, people out speaking on stage, they're getting paid, they're blowing it up. Man, I know that you charge a lot of money for mentorship, but a lot of people, they don't know that I offer mentorship for free by you showing up and refer me a few clients and earn your way in. But you see, if you don't ask, you don't know, right? And that's why you got to ask. Anybody that you wanted to be mentored by them, that you love them, that you want to support them, ask them, hey, what do you need help with? How can I support you? I would love to be mentored by you. And you reach out to Mike, to myself, to Tony Robbins, to Jay Shetty, to anybody that you wanted to be mentored by. I promise you, all of us, we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking, you know what I mean? And so it's about, again, guys, just keep showing up, keep being different. Mike, as we coming over here towards the end of the show, a question that I love to ask, man, is almost a whole hour. Time goes by fast, man, when you're having a great time. I couldn't believe it. And you guys know I like to stick within an hour with this show, but you guys are going to see Mike and I doing big and bigger things. You'll see us more often. Mike and I, we've been talking a lot, and, we're going to continue building and growing communities out there. And it's 70 years from now, Mike. You are 100 years old, and it's your eulogy. Your best friend, your loved one, your children, whoever is that person that will be designated to read your eulogy, they're going to say, Mike Ashabraner was ... In your own words, who was Mike Ashabraner?
Wow. Hey, he was determined. That's it. He was determined. That, you know what? You know what I want? I don't do this for anything else. I do this for fulfillment, for success, right? For respect. Like, my family, they enjoy it and I love spoiling them. But that's not about the beach, vacation, or anything else. It's about, I did that. I'll put it this way. It's the sense of accomplishment that my family, I'm the buck stops here. We do not have to continue this generational, cycle that we're in. It's going to change. It's going to change. I remember one of my mentors asked me, he said, what's your great great grandfather's name? I said, I don't know. He said, you know why you don't know? He said, because he didn't leave you anything. Wow. So that's what motivates me. They say, he did it. He did it. I don't know what they're going to say, ... but I know what they're going to think. Wow. I'm glad he did that. I'm glad we went through all this. I'm glad he paid the price. The unspoken word. So for me, it's me at 100, dead, whatever. And nobody thinks like they used to. My whole generation just changed. Now we're out there pioneering, making things happen, man. We might be sending people to Mars, man. Who knows? But you know what? And by the way, that's funny. You crack me up because my family doesn't age like fine wine, Carlos. We kind of age like milk, brother. So I didn't realize that people can be 100, be vibrant and stuff. So now I've got my buddy David
For real,
Medeski
man.
helping
I know.
me.
Look
Yeah,
at Robert Kennedy, right? And Bobby, like, man, they all looking young, man. And we're gonna live for a
yeah,
long time, man. Right now, longevity is a big topic, and for real.
it is.
Nah,
Yeah,
man, but
but that
I appreciate
legacy,
you,
man.
Mike. I appreciate you, man. What a great episode, and what a great way. And I often I always catch my guesses on God. You know me, I don't send questions ahead of time. I'm like, we just go with the flow. That's how we do it on the carlosinspireshow.com every Monday at 5:07 a.m. PST. We are releasing new episodes every week, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys could do me a huge favor, as you guys know, this show is free. Thanks to you all and our sponsors, and you guys liking and giving us a review and dropping comments and sharing it. That's how we can grow. I appreciate if you guys can go on Apple or just type in Carlos Inspire Show and everywhere, on Spotify, on Apple, iHeartRadio, Alexa. For you guys that have smart homes, say, Alexa, play the incredible episode with Mike, Ashabraner, and Carlos Inspire. And your smart house will play it, but I appreciate you all, guys. And Mike, what is the best place they can continue this conversation? Where do you hang out the most, my brother? Where they can follow up with you? Where do you hang out the most out there on social media? Or is it your website? Where's the best place?
LinkedIn/n/redneck1. So Mike Ashabraner. Just type in ASH and you'll probably see the long name. YouTube, Hounds of Business on YouTube. We have links that you can explore, and we've got a new landing page, website being built. So YouTube and LinkedIn. I also take carrier pigeons, man. If you want to do old school Game of Thrones and mail me a carrier pigeon, I still take those. And I got surround sound in my outhouse now. So I still don't have plumbing in there yet, but I got surround sound, so I can do that. I can ask Alexa. I'm gonna hey Alexa, pull up a Carlos show.
Oh yeah, ask Alexa, baby. For real. No, I appreciate you guys. There you guys have it, my friends. I appreciate you all over here with us. Mike Ashabraner. Follow him on LinkedIn. Follow him Rounds. I went blank, Mike. Hounds of Business on YouTube, and follow my brother Mike, and keep an eye. This is going to be a lot of great things are going to be cooking. You'll see more of me and Mike in the months to come, and I appreciate you all. You guys just stay blessed out there. You guys know the drill. The days that breaks us are truly the days that makes us. Stay blessed. Goodbye.